Hi all, welcome back. This is Manios. Okay, in this video, we will see most frequently asking interview question for 2+ or 4+ years of experience profile. That is a basic, core Java question. Uh, Most of the times they will start the interview with these kind of questions. Okay, that is none other than difference between hash table and hash map. So hash table and hash map both will store as a key value pairs data, and whenever we are trying to use hash table or hash map, we need to specify the object that we need to store it as a key and the value that we want to link to that key. Okay, so key value pair, it will store data as a key value pair, and we need to specify what is the key type and value type. That is the common thing in both. And then what happened, right? In that entry, here we will call that key value pair will be called as an entry. So uh, the key we are inserting into the hash table or hash map, right, that will be hashed first using hashing mechanism. It will determine the hash code. Then that hash code will be used to determine the index at which position the value has to store for that key. Okay, so basically we store the data into a hash table and hash map as a key value pair, and we need to specify the type of those, and then the key object will be hashed in the sense hash code will be calculated for that key, and then the hash code will be used as a index to store the value against that key. That is about these 3 points. Okay, and last one is common thing in the hash table and hash map. Common thing is uh, working mechanism is same in hash table and hash map, and insertion order is not preserved. When we see in array list or linked list, insertion order is preserved. That means suppose you inserted 5 elements, and if you traverse and print that list, right, it will print the elements in the same way which you inserted earlier. So that is how works in list. But in hash table and hash map, insertion order is not preserved. That is about this fourth point. Then, as of now, so far we discussed the common points between hash table and hash map. Okay, next thing is what are the major differences. Okay, hash table came in 1.0 version onwards. That means it's there from first version of Java. Okay, hash map introduced in 1.0 version. This is basic difference. Not difference, I mean in which version it has been introduced. Then this is the major one. Hash table is synchronized and thread safe. But when come to hash map, it is not synchronized. So it is not synchronized means it is not thread safe. So here we need to know about what is thread safe. So when we are working in multiple threads environment, multi-threading environment, to maintain the data consistency in that hash table or hash map, whatever collection object, suppose that is synchronized, the data consistency will be maintained, and if it is not synchronized, there is a possibility of getting the concurrency issues. Okay, then once hash table is synchronized and thread safe, that means it is slow. That means suppose let's say we have an object, sorry, hash table in multi-threading environment. Suppose a thread acquired the lock on that hash table object, then no other thread will be allowed to use that hash table object until and unless first thread completes its purpose or task, or it releases the lock. Okay, until that any other thread not allowed to use it. That is why hash table is slow. This is happening because of synchronized concept. So hash table is synchronized. At a time, only one thread is allowed to use that hash table. Until and unless that thread completes its purpose, that lock will not be removed, and no other thread will be allowed to use. That is why hash table is slow. But when it comes to the hash map is not synchronized, not thread safe. So that means obviously it will be fast. Then, as we discussed, hash table is synchronized, so it will work in multiple thread environment, and hash map work with single thread only. And another major point is hash table doesn't allow null keys or null values. In the beginning of this video, we discussed it, right? In each hash table and hash map, data will be stored as a key value pair. So In hash table also, it has to store the data as a key value pair, that we call it as a entry. In hash table, it doesn't allow the null values for the key and values. Okay, but hash map allows one null key and any number of null values. You can insert any number of null values. That is about the basic difference between hash table and hash map.